Very disappointed this week. That's what comes down with me. Very, very fucking disappointed this week in our community. And I say this due to the fact that you have to understand, I wasn't even going to do this video this week. Alright, I was just going to be like, fuck it. I'm just going to go, do what I got to do because it's nice out and I'm not even worried about it at this point. Don't even let it, just let it roll off my back. But some of you came to me and said, no, Event, do the video, you know what I mean? Maybe people just need to hear it. Maybe they need to be put in check. So today, yeah, I'm going to put people in check. I'm putting Gamergate in check. I'm putting anti-Gamergate in check. Because you got to be kidding me that we are still seeing this week that just passed. You've got to be kidding me that we're still trying to make a big story out of Nintendo and monetization. Now because you got more YouTubers coming out and crying because they can't double dip, because that's what it is, alright? Crying because they can't double dip because Nintendo won't let them monetize 100%. Then now all of a sudden, we got the kid, cry and complain about it and get angry about it when it's fake anger to begin with. Don't even give me this shit, because anyone who has seen what's been going on this week on the internet, people getting run over by cars, doing fights and carrying on, don't tell me that your real anger lies with Nintendo monetizing. Get the fuck out of here with that old bullshit. I'm not trying to hear it. So as far as I'm concerned, where's Gamergate on this? This is what I said before. If you're going to make demands of other, of other groups, of other people that are in power or in position to make decisions, alright, you gotta look at your own community and say, wait a minute, this is fucked up. Because the same people who are sitting here saying, oh, I can't monetize, are the same people who are talking about community. And that's bullshit. It has nothing to do about community, it's about them. It's that simple. Alright? Don't be fooled by this old bullshit. Like I said, and the things I've seen, it's okay to complain about monetization. No. Get off your ass and get a fucking job if it's that important. But no one wants to do that. No one wants to do that. I told you, only in this internet world, in this blogosphere, in this Twitter sphere, whatever the fuck you like to call it, this YouTube era, whatever you want to call it, alright? Only people will justify this bullshit. And these are grown-ass men acting like this. You gotta be kidding me. It's childish. Speaking of childish, let's talk about it right now. Childish. Richard Stanton. Now, for those who don't know who Richard Stanton is, this guy apparently made a book, on video games not too long ago, and has decided to jump into the Gamergate fiasco, and decides he's going to threaten to fight Gamergaters now. Oh, so Richard Stanton wants to act tough now. So that's what it is. He wants to put hands on somebody. Okay, so if you're man enough to meet somebody in person to physically fight, then why'd you go ahead and say some shit like this, Richard Stanton? You can tell this guy doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Because you can't sit here and say that Gamergate made Sarkeesian's videos untouchable. You do realize that people have been criticizing Anita before Gamergate, right? You understand that. So no, they didn't make them untouchable. So you want to sit here and say that you're man enough to put your hands on somebody physically, but then turn around and say, I'm too scared to criticize Anita Sarkeesian's videos from afar. That's what you just did. You understand that, right, idiot? So how tough really are you to say something like this? You know what? And it gets worse. Because now we're seeing people who really think that they're tough on this side, this anti-Gamergate side. That's right. Now they're demanding that you leave this community. Once again, we have a bunch of middle-class to high-class entitled children, because that's what they are, they're fucking children, alright? Making demands of a community that they're not even in. And I'll say this, they're not in this community. I'll explain, okay? Because if you're going to sit here and say, and I want to read this, if you're a feminist, regardless of gender, welcome to gaming. If you're not regardless of gender, get the fuck out of our toy box scum. What do you mean, our toy box? You do realize when it comes to gaming, this community, it was built long ago, and it had nothing to do with political ties. You understand, right? It had nothing to do with fucking feminism. When gaming started, this community started, it was because people were outcast from regular society and they made their own group and it became popular. Then you had all those other people who say, hey, look, hey, this looks fun. So why don't we try it? That's what happened. Nobody, and I mean nobody, was in arcades. I said this before, was in arcades talking about this is our toy box scum, this is feminism, you're oppressing me and all this other bullshit. No one said that shit. Nobody. So don't give me this shit that all of a sudden, this is our toy box. If you don't like it, get the fuck out of here. You know what's funny? Because when this all started, These SJWs came out and said, we don't want to censor people, we don't want to really change much except the fact that we want equality. Now, we're seeing developers be silenced. Are we not? We're seeing people be censored. We're seeing people getting put on a list for harassment. How are we not? Now, they're telling you, the people who made this community, they're telling you, get the fuck out of it. Not even their community to say so. So I put it like this. Who the fuck are you to come out and say this? What position of power do you hold that you can tell a mass amount of people to get the fuck out? Tits or get the fuck out. That's what this is at this point. I will put it like this. Now I'm going to call you on your bluff. Because I'll put it like this. You want people to get out? What if they don't? What are you going to do about it? I want to know. Because that's what it's leading to. What are you going to do about it if these people that aren't feminists don't leave? I want to know. Because this is all you fucking do. This is all you make your little threats on Twitter about what you're going to do. And we saw it with Lee Alexander. We saw it with a number of people. And what happened? Nothing. You didn't even act on it. So I'm begging you, please, act on this. If people don't leave, what the fuck are you going to do? Act on it. This is what I'm talking about. Anti-Gamergate, just like I said to Gamergate not too long ago. Anti-Gamergate. You love to talk about how people need to get the fuck out and how there needs to be equality instead of looking at the people that you support and seeing that a lot of them are shilling, that a lot of them are bigots and will do anything for attention. But you don't want to talk about that. You don't want to clean up your own, community first before making demands. And you know what I've been saying for the previous couple weeks now about how every time I see stupid stuff on Twitter, and you people in the comments have said, yeah, it's best to stay away from that, and not really buy into, all the Twitter comments and how they can be absolutely ridiculous. But those who don't know what I'm talking about. Here's an example of feminists, all right, on Twitter. And that's the dumb shit I'm talking about. Apparently, you can't be a real feminist unless you're a vegan. So apparently, because that's the history to this girl. All right, you're not a real feminist. Not to mention years back when women were marching and fighting for equal rights. Those type of things. That doesn't make you a real feminist. No. But apparently, if you are a vegan, if you don't eat any type of meat or bacon or whatever, that makes you a feminist. This is the dumb shit I'm talking. See, no, I'm done. I'm done. This is the dumb shit. I'm done. I'm deading it. I'm deading it right now. Let's move on to video games, because I could go on for days when it comes to dumb fucking tweets like that. I can. It's sad. It is. And these are the people who actually have influence. These are the people who put out shit, and then you have people say, this is right. You get the fucking kidding me. Come on, man. Use some fucking common sense. But this is the internet. No one uses common sense, right? And the people who do use common sense they're looked at as bad guys. I don't fucking get it. But you know what? Let's move on. NorCal Regionals Fighting Game Community. NorCal Regionals 2015 Top 16 Ultra Street Fighter 4 tourney runs back 4 matches after the wrong version was used. It's starting to sound a little bit familiar. There's YouTubers on here, who still, talk about that for years and years ago, that they were in a tournament and they used the GIMP version. But, it goes to show you that tournament organizers, they had to run it back because it's absolutely wrong. However, a lot of people are blaming the tournament organizers for not being on the ball. And you know what? You can give them part of the blame, but you know who you also should blame? The companies. Because when you keep putting out version after version or patch after patch because, we didn't take our time making this game, but we'll patch it later. It's amazing how they keep talking about how they have all these pro players that have their voice in it, They have their, their input on what works and what doesn't work, and you still have to patch it. Isn't that what we always hear? Okay, I want to make that known. So for everyone who likes to kiss pro players' asses when they have, their input on a game, and then the company says, okay, we'll listen to you, and then they put it in there, and then the game still needs a patch, what does that tell you? You have your testers, you listen to your community, you listen to the pro players, and as we know with Capcom, they said they'll listen to pro players more before they listen to the community, and yet you still have to patch your game. So as far as I'm concerned, if you're going to blame the tournament organizers, there has to be a shared responsibility with the companies as well. Not going to blame too much of the pro players and the community in general, because they can only do but so much. Because the company can say, okay, we took your input, but we're not going to implement it. You know what I mean? Can't blame them too much. But the fact is, you have to have a shared responsibility when it comes to this. Granted, the organizers should have been on the ball, but the company shouldn't have put that, They shouldn't have put them in that position to begin with. That's what I'm getting at, okay? Now, I want to talk about Mortal Kombat X. For those who don't know, Mortal Kombat X will have a 2 Gigabyte day 1 patch. Here we go again. Like, it just, for a fighting game, like, you gotta be kidding. Like, come on. Just stop. Just stop. I'm gonna move on, alright? I want to talk about Tekken 7, and I want to talk about netcode. Because for those who don't know, a lot of people are complaining, they're asking Harada a lot of questions about, will the netcode be better because of latency issues? And Harada says this. He says, good netcode, it says there's no such code that automatically makes latency go away. Meaning, it'll automatically be there. So I want to thank Harada for saying that. Why? Because you're just giving me more leverage to say, well then, since everyone's complaining about latency, bring back the arcades. You just gave me more leverage to say it. That's all you did. So I want to thank Harada for saying that. Because if gamers are going to sit here and complain about latency in online, which is a problem with fighting games, because let's be honest here, alright? Fighting games, you have to be on the ball. You have to. You have to know it down to a T. And if there's a latency issue, you may miss that. You know, especially if you're in the middle of a combo, you can drop a combo. I mean, you can miss a punish. There's a lot of things that you can do, you know what I mean, when it comes to missing latency. And you're just like, oh, great, I'm screwed. You know, I really should have won that match, but now I can't. You know what I mean? You know, I just missed my opportunity. So, and sometimes that's what it comes down to. It comes down to how many opportunities you have and if you capitalize on it. So, if latency is an issue, then we need to bring it back to the arcades where people can be face-to-face and play each other, and there will be no complaints about latency anymore. Just saying, okay? I want to speak more about Capcom. For those who don't know, Capcom hopes to operate deep down in other online games for 10 years. Get the fuck out of my face, Capcom! You've got to be kidding me. I say this because the other news that's coming down the line that you're going to hear, okay? Capcom has a lot of nerve, especially when it comes to operating online games, and we've seen their servers from time to time roll over to other games, okay? We've also seen them support other games for a lengthy amount of time. It really depends on their decisions, because, I mean, Lost Planet 2 online, they supported it for so long. I believe it's still up, isn't it? No, they got rid of it, didn't they? I don't know. But it's still, but they support that for so long. And then you have games like Monster Hunter, where they don't support it, you know what I mean? And then some people can blame Nintendo, but then you also have to look at when they had on the PSP. And then you can say, well, you can blame Sony. Look, Capcom has to look, I told you before, these type of servers and these type of online problems, you have to be able to keep them up. There has to be some type of, you know, restoration to keep these online games up, because you don't want us in your arcades anymore. You don't want us playing face-to-face. That's what it is. Let's be honest here, all right? And I'll talk about that a little bit more, because there's more news on online servers shutting down. However, I still want to stay with Capcom. For those who don't know, Capcom explains the removal of local co-op in Resident Evil 5 PC, which is such bullshit. It is, okay? And I'm saying this because I'll put the link in the info bar. You can read the shit yourself, okay? It says, this is Capcom's excuse, okay? As some of you may know, MT Framework is our multi-platform development tool engine that is utilized across several platforms. The aforementioned split-screen code is an orphan code based from the PS3 Xbox 360 SKU, which simply does not work on a PC. It is such bullshit, because I put it like this. Later in the article, the modders who put the damn co-op mode in the PC version, they came out and said, we didn't do anything different. All we did was enable it, and it worked smooth. We did nothing different. So Capcom, either you're fucking lazy, well, actually you're lazy and you're lying on top of it. How many times are you going to lie within a number of weeks? I'm just wondering here. And you want people to support you. You want people to buy your product, yet you're giving them half-ass games. And then when modders come along and you know, enable it and expose you for who the fuck you are, then later you want to come around and fix it again. That's what you did with Revelations 2, didn't you? You told people, oh no, we can't have this, you know, and then what happened? You put it in after modders made it available. But yet people will still support Capcom. I don't understand this. There's more to this, people. Alright, Capcom, new Ghostbusters iPhone game are looking for testers. Didn't we just talk about this a minute ago with Capcom? I mean, seriously. I mean, if you're looking for testers, what happens if they find a bunch of stuff? Are you going to ignore them and just say, we'll just patch it later? Are you going to do that? But if you're interested in testing for this Ghostbusters game with Capcom, which I never thought I'd see the two names next to each other, go ahead. It's in there for you, okay? Also, let's talk more about Capcom. That's a lot of Capcom today. I know a lot of Capcom. Monster Hunter 4 gets free DLC and adds Mario and Sonic skins. That's right. So, Nintendo fans, you're getting that. Capcom is known, for those who, you know, really don't play Monster Hunter that much, I would say since Freedom Unite, Capcom has been known to, put a number of free DLC up for consumers when it comes to, you know, their Monster Hunter games. However, as I've said in the past, Capcom, why are you not letting consumers make their own missions? If you want it to keep going, the longevity of Monster Hunter keep going, because for those who don't know, they put out DLC missions as well. You can let consumers, gamers, get to a certain point in their game, and then they can start making their own quest for online, for people to, for time attack, for challenging, time trials and things of that nature. You can do that. We already see when you go into the arenas how they have 4 or 5 monsters at one point that hunters can fight at one time, you know what I mean? Depending on how they work it. But, like I said, you can also do that with gamers as well. They can come up with their own stuff. Give them the tools to create, and your game will go further than you think. It will. It will last longer than you think, and then you can take your time on your next iteration of Monster Hunter and make it look even better. I've said that before, but it seems like Capcom's still not listening. Let's go, man. Speaking of more Capcom, Devil May Cry 4. That's right, Special Edition. We've talked about this last week, and I showed you a number of things last week, and it seems like people liked it, so here's some more, alright? Here we go. Special Edition has DLC pack that contains red orbs and costumes for Lady and Trish. So now you're going to DLC people on Devil May Cry. Really? That's what you want to do, Capcom? That's what it's bad enough that you're still not giving gamers a physical disc that you lied about and said it's too hard to put on disc last week, but it's over in Japan. They got the disc. It wasn't that hard, was it? But in America, apparently in the West, it's too hard. But now you're going to DLC the hell out of people with this. You know what? It gets worse. Because remember how I told you that Vergil was going to have some moves from DMC? Remember that last week? Okay, well, check this out. Vergil, in this version of, was it Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition, he will no longer have Darkslayer in the game. So yeah, we're going to go with that. You see, you're taking moves away, and you're adding DMC moves. You know what? Capcom, I'm just so disgusted at you this week. I just want to move on. I really do. I'm just, y'all have to understand, I'm beyond all this right now. I'm just like, fuck it. Fuck, if I could just throw some papers up, like, fuck it, just walk away. If I could. You know what I mean? Like, let's just move on. Call of Duty's top player is stepping away from the game. And, so what? I'll put it like this. If he leaves, some other guy or girl is going to step in his place, and the media is going to kiss that person's ass. That's what's going to happen. Not a big deal as far as I'm concerned, alright? But at least he knew to get out while he could. Anyways, I'll play this Dirt 3. Let's talk about Dirt 3. Now, for those who don't remember Dirt 3, for years, gamers have been bagging on Dirt because of what they did with their, with all their DLC and things of that nature and the way they had to lock the game and everything. For those who don't know, Dirt 3 finally drops games for Windows Live, gives away DLC for free. So it took you this long to learn that, huh? Took you this long. I hope it doesn't. I hope really that it doesn't move any type of fan. Any type of fan love? Hopefully, fans don't flock to it. You know what I mean? Like after the way you've been doing this for so long with Dirt, you shot yourself in the foot. And I think at this point, I feel my opinion. I feel gamers should just let them rot. This is how you want to treat us. These are the consequences. Don't be like, okay, we get it. It's our fault. Now we'll give you free DLC and you'll come to us. No, I really hope that people don't do that. I really hope they don't. Also, speaking of more racing, Mario Kart 8 gets free, faster, 200cc mode. So that'll be a free download. So Mario Kart 8 fans, by all means, get to it. You know what I mean? It's free. Now, I'll put it like this. Also, fans are outraged by... I gotta talk about this to the community again. Fans are outraged at Nintendo's bonehead approach to Amiibos. Well, guess what? Fans can't be that much outraged because I'll put it like this. For those who don't know, Greninja Amiibo sells out in under an hour. That's right. For those who also don't know, Amiibo Wave 4 pre-orders sell out at Gamestop. Pre-orders sell out at Gamestop. So the fans can't be that upset. Alright? Not all fans can be upset if they're running to Gamestop and pre-ordering. I'm just saying, I understand that a lot of us are upset with Amiibos, and I've been telling you for how long. They're going to discontinue these, and make people rush out and buy them as quick as possible. And we've seen people say, why are you buying these things? I don't understand either why they're buying them. I don't. Alright? I don't think it's even worth it. But there are people who are collectors. Some people buy it for collecting. Some people think it's really going to help their game, but some people just say, hey, look, the characters look cool. That's why I want it. Everyone has their preference on why they buy an Amiibo. I personally don't buy them. I don't see why to buy them. The only one I would have thought to even, thought about buying would either be Mega Man or Samus. And not because they use it, but the fact that they're just cool collector's figures. I personally still won't buy them, though. Like I said, that's the only ones that crossed my mind. However, you do have to understand there are people out there who are so hardcore, they will collect and buy them all. There's some who will collect them and not even open the package. You know what I mean? And just think they're going to be really rare. Because of the way they're trying to, the way they're setting up these, discontinuations and things of that nature, we're going to see this. And it's not going to get any better anytime soon. Because, I put it like this, if fans are that upset with Nintendo with it, then you're going to have to come together as a collective and saying, we're done buying them. We're done buying them. That will send a message, but Nintendo's not going to do that. And I don't think you can even get fans to even... Look, I guarantee you there's going to be fans in this comment section that won't agree on everything, let alone agree massively on one thing. So, that's just how it is. You know what I mean? Like, people are going to buy it. They just are. You say all you can do is hope that it ends. But I put it like this. If you don't buy them anymore, Nintendo won't say, okay, we learned the lesson, we're not going to screw you anymore. We'll do it regularly, and put them out, I put it like this, in a moderation. No, they won't do that. What they'll do is they'll say, we'll just stop them all. Our run is over. That's what they'll do. Even though it's interesting because if you look at the sales numbers for Amiibos as opposed to like Disney Infinity and Skylanders, they're still rolling in dough. Kids are buying them up like hotcakes. So I would say kids, I should say their parents. But that's how it is, Let's move on. I want to talk about Bloodborne. Once again, the community fails. And I say this because how to soften up Bloodborne's bosses. Leave the game on for 12 hours. You've got to be kidding me. Why don't you just play the game straight up and learn from it? Get good. How about that? That's just too much like, right? You have to leave your game on for 12 hours in order to soften up a boss? No, man, that's just that. Come on, look. These Demon Souls games, these Dark Souls games, the Soul series in general will teach you how to do this. Monster Hunter teaches you. Learn how they're moving and then work effectively around it. That's how you do things, alright? Don't sit here and tell me that you're going to leave your game on, your system on for 12 hours. Alright, your game for 12 hours and then we can beat a boss. That's crazy. Absolutely nuts. Learn to play the game. Play the game straight up. Face the challenge. Isn't that what gaming is about? Facing challenges and beating those bosses is the achievement. It's not the trophy. It's the boss. You understand that, right? The boss is the trophy. Jesus. Oh my God. Speaking of more stupidity, and I feel bad for gamers on this one, alright? Sony buys Onlive. That's right. Remember that service? Onlive? Yeah. Just to shut it down. So gamers who actually went to Onlive and bought Onlive and was, with it, yeah, they shut it down. So now you're screwed. You have a big, heavy paperweight. That's what you have. You got a controller that you can't use, unless you can use it for your PC or another Android system that it'll recognize. But you have to be kidding me that Sony just bought this out and was just like, that's it. You don't need it anymore because they're setting up their own cloud service. They don't want any competition at this point. This is what Sony is doing. Okay. Also, Bungie. I want to talk about this because this is hilarious. Bungie bans toxic players from Destiny matchmaking, making some strikes easier. And fine, it's all fine and dandy if you want to do that. You don't want those people out there, those toxic players out there ruining the game. I don't understand why gamers do that anyway. But Bungie, you probably could have went about it a better way, a more comical way. And for those who don't know what I'm talking about, Grand Theft Auto 5, that's right. Now they have decided to take on online cheaters with exploding cars.
MMI, we expect. I'll do my best.
Why didn't you get out of my way? Oh my fucking God.
Seen over the years, companies try to take on online cheaters or pirates even and do like unkillable, invincible monsters that just keep coming after them so they can't play the game. This is hilarious that you say, okay, I'm trying to get in this car and it just explodes. That's what you get for online cheating. That's what you get, okay? Like I said, I don't know why people just can't play their game straight up. I understand, especially with Grand Theft Auto, I get it. It's already enough carnage and randomness as it is. Why do you need to cheat? Why? Like, do you not like competition? Do you want to play the game and always think that you're a god? Because if that's the game you want to play, then you know what? You're in video games for the wrong reason. You are. If you're in it just for the sake of having an ego, you're in it for the wrong reason. It has always been, this is your challenge, overcome it. You were always going to be the underdog. We see that with Shadow of the Colossus. We see that with the Soul series. As you see, now you can't fight monsters anymore, bosses anymore. You should just wait 10 hours. We saw it, 12 hours, I'm sorry. We saw it with Final Fantasy 11, where you had to fight that boss for 18 hours as a team. Like, you have to understand that this is what it's always been about. It's about the challenge. Super ghouls and ghosts, Battletoads. It has always been about the challenge. And for people, and teamwork too at times. You have to understand that. It has never always been about, oh, I'm just the adversary. Everyone around me has to die but me because I'm a virtual god. It has never been about that. Only have we seen this not too long ago in the previous couple of years in this generation when it comes to first-person shooters and things of that nature, where we see this behavior where it's just like, you all have to die, whatever. We've seen it even back in the day with Counter-Strike and Unreal Tournament at times, where people would try to mod and cheat, and guess what? They would get filleted. They would. People always find a way around challenges. They do. And if people have to cheat, guess what? People are going to find a way around that too. But it's sad that people have to resort to cheating at this point. You've got to be kidding me. However, I do think I think that is brilliant by Rockstar to do. I think it's as funny as hell. However, I do want to move on. Because since I'm talking about online, because, you know, we don't have that much arcades, you know, being one-on-one anymore. Since it's online and we're talking about cheating and online cheating, all right, check this out. NBA 2K14, all right, the servers went down. They shut down the servers and it wiped player save files. That's right. So a game that just came out last year. Once again, we saw this with MLB The Show, did we not? Now they're doing it with NBA 2K14. Now, mind you, 2K had promised players they wasn't going to do this, and yet they went and did it anyway. So what does this tell you? What have you learned today, gamers, when it comes to this, huh? These annual games that they keep coming out with now, I told you before, they only got to honor about, 3 months anyway? But these annual games that keep coming out every year, we're starting to see now that they're going to do it every year. As soon as the new game comes out, they're going to get rid of the old year. That's what they're going to do the previous year. You've got to be kidding me. Why would you still support this? I'm just wondering. As a consumer, as a person who would want to save money, because let's be honest here, you want to save money, right? Because if you're a gamer, you're going to end up using that money for another game, right? So you have more in your collection. The fact that they are sitting here telling you, really, we're just going to shut it down. And there's no consequences other than a couple fans saying, this is fucked up. There's no backlash. They said, all right, it's not that big of a deal. Because guess what? When NBA 2K16 comes out, guess what they're going to do? They're going to cut 15 servers. And you know why you're going to be okay with it? Because they're going to throw a superstar in their, in their trailer, and they're going to throw some hip-hop music or some rap music in your, your trailer, and you're going to go crazy over it. It's the same thing over and over. I'm trying to figure out why people still keep falling for this. And it's not just NBA 2K. It's Madden. It's Call of Duty. It's every game that has when it comes out. Like, you've got to be kidding me. You're shutting down servers. You don't even fix the previous versions before you even call in another version. Hello, Capcom. Hello, Street Fighter. It's just, you've got to be kidding me, man. And this is the type of thing that upsets me due to the fact that I keep seeing this over and over in our community. And it seems like, and once again, Gamergate, all right? Not everything has to be about ethics and journalism. When you see things like this, you call them on it. Because guess what? That is unethical towards you consumers. That's what it is. You got to call them on it. But when I say that, I guess people are going to say, well, you can't tell a group of people what to do, blah, 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 blah. Like I said, it's just my opinion. I'm not making any demands. I'm just saying it just makes you look bad when you do something like that. When you keep falling for the same thing, look, the community can't get better and the industry can't get better if you keep falling for the same thing, if the same revolving door keeps happening. All right? That's how they've been making their money. And then when someone does complain, they call you a crybaby, they call you a whiner, they call you all these names, don't they? And I'm talking about the industry does this. Developers do this. Media does this. And then you have gamers who do it to each other. Do you not? All right then. You can tell when someone's crying and when they're telling the truth. You can tell. It's time that everyone starts using just a bit of common sense. And not, be quick to rush out and be like, wait a minute, that Madden's coming out. I'm going to go and get it at midnight and stand in line. All right, just for, a year later to say, wait a minute, the next Madden's coming out. I'm going to go in line and stand there at midnight and get my... Like, come on. Come on, man. It's not that serious. It's not. You and I both know that these companies, they keep doing this over and over again. And because there's not enough backlash, this will happen. Same, like I said, with 2K. Look what happened not too long ago. Everyone's talking about how they make it Joe Montana football. You know, 2K's finally getting a football game. Don't you think if they're doing this with NBA 2K, that they'll do that also to their football games as well? Like, I'm done. I'm done. Anyways, I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all be safe. Like I said, I'm done. I can't take it any. I'm just, like I said, just fuck it all at this point. This week was just really just a wash as far as I'm concerned. I don't think anything's going to get done. I don't think anything's going to get achieved. Whatever. I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all be safe. I'm out.